Let's go ahead and talk about January 6th, Ray Epps, to remind ourselves of some facts. And let's also talk about Andrew Tate's recent arrest. Thanks for coming back to my Athenaeum. I try to shed light upon the unvarnished truth here. I appreciate you coming back for this episode, where we're just going to talk about a couple of news headlines that came across the board this week. First one is going to be January 6th. I'd like to remind everyone that there's some very big unknown facts that people still find controversial. So first one I'd like to talk about is Ray Epps. Again, we've had hundreds upon hundreds of protesters from that day who were arrested for misdemeanors, locked up in federal jails. Some have been locked up ever since January 6th. They've been locked up for years. Some have been in solitary confinement for years for misdemeanors. But Ray Epps was there. Ray Epps was the only person on video ever actually provoking, promoting, and trying to invite others to go along with him to the Capitol. We're going to pull up video of this in just a minute. I'd like to remind everyone that in regards to the response to January 6th, people say, why didn't Trump do anything? Trump just let it happen. That's why he didn't request any backup, yada, yada, yada. Well, you people don't know anything. Those of you who would say that. The truth is, Trump requested 10,000 National Guard troops to be present at the Capitol on January 6th. His request was denied. I'll give you one guess as to who denied it. Nancy Pelosi. Crazy Nancy, the one who said, why wasn't there security here? Oh, gee, it's because you denied U.S. troops being there. You said, no, we don't need security. Okay, well, you paid the consequences for that. This request was denied by Nancy Pelosi, who just so happened to have a film crew following her around on January 6th. And she said, and I quote, I hope he comes, referring to Trump. I'm going to punch him out. And then continues to say, I've been waiting for this, waiting for trespassing on the Capitol grounds. I'm going to punch him out and I'm going to go to jail and I'm going to be happy. That's what Nancy Pelosi said on January 6th. She didn't sound too scared to me. She sounded excited that her lack of troop presence there allowed people to, trespass on Capitol grounds. She was so happy that now that she denied the request for troops that would have at least created a bigger line in front of the Capitol. She was happy that now people were going to break the law. She was happy and hoped that Trump would make it all the way down so she could punch him in the face. Let's not forget about that. Now, let's take a look over at this page from Ray, talking about Ray Epps. It's from notthebee.com. Let's see here. Let me scroll back up to the start of the article here. Ray Epps, the one guy the January 6th committee doesn't seem to care about, claims in texts with his nephew that he orchestrated things at the Capitol. Here's a still photo with someone, putting some text over the photo. They write, it's so weird that with all the people involved in January 6th sitting in prison and a former president who said to protest peacefully, constantly slandered as riot insider, the one man who we know that wanted people to riot inside the Capitol and wanted others to join his protest is, for some reason, never considered as a conspirator by the January 6th committee. The newest revelation about one Ray Epps are maybe the wildest so far. On the afternoon of January 6th, Ray Epps texted his nephew about the events at the Capitol. I was in the front with a few others. I also orchestrated it. And we wonder why he was never charged and why he's the only person whom Alex Kinzinger and Liz Cheney will defend. And here again, they just kind of go into more description of what was being talked about. Let's see. In case you forgot, Ray Epps is this guy who the entire crowd recognized as a Fed because he was saying the day before January 6th that people need to go inside the Capitol. Right? Here's your proof, YouTube. Here's your proof, FBI.
Tomorrow, we need to go into the Capitol.
Sorry, folks. You know, my internet gets a little laggy when I'm trying to play videos. Let's see if I can pause it, let it load, and maybe freshen up a little bit. We scroll down. There was also when Ted Cruz in Congress was asking, I forget who he was asking, some senator, or not senator. I forget who he was asking, but he says, was Ray Epps a Fed? And long story short, they said, Senator, I can't answer that question. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. All right, let's try and check this video out anymore if we can.
Into the Capitol. What?
You could hear someone in the background yell, what?
No!
No, they're saying.
Fed, 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 Fed.
And there they go chanting, Fed, 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 Fed. So here we are. The one guy on video asking, inciting, and calling for a riot. And in later articles, I don't know if they published it on here. They didn't publish other articles on here that I'm thinking of, but there's other articles where he's whispering in the ear of someone, and then 5 seconds later, this person goes and starts destroying a fence. Did Ray Epps encourage that person to go tear down a fence at the Capitol grounds? Did he encourage someone to commit a crime? Shouldn't he be charged? Shouldn't he be questioned by the January 6th committee? No, our government is a farce. It's a shadow government that doesn't care about you or your rights, and they're just going to trample upon you and your rights. Here's some more proof of it. Now, granted, this isn't U.S. government. This is Romanian government, but when it involves celebrities, public figures, there seems to be a common thread here. I think of now granted each situation is a little bit different, but I think of people like Bob Marley, Tupac, people that haven't died. You know, Tim Pool has been swatted time and time again. Influential people who speak and wield the truth with almighty righteousness are at risk. The most dangerous thing that you can put out on the internet is the truth. Because the truth cannot be challenged, cannot be questioned, and the truth doesn't care about your opinions, your feelings, or your personal beliefs. The truth is the truth, and it is objective. The shadow government, the worldly political figures, have deemed Andrew Tate to be the most recent vendor of bad news and misinformation and misogynistic claims to young men. Andrew Tate and his brother, Tristan Tate, and 2 others were recently arrested in Romania under charges of suspicion of human trafficking. We don't know if that's true. God only knows if that's true. That's not what we're here to talk about today, as obviously, with those kinds of situations, it's going to take a while for the truth to come out. In a recent post, I'm going to kind of skip ahead and then kind of rewind a little bit. In a recent post-arrest interview on YouTube, Andrew Tate was asked, "What do you feel about what's happened to you? What's your plans?" To which Andrew replies, "Yeah, so the Matrix attacked me. They tried to remove me from social media. They used their bullets. I'm still all over social media, so they failed. What's scary about it, the only thing I will say I don't like about being banned is that you get 3 lives when you attack powerful people. They first ban you and try to shut you up. Secondly, they'll put you in jail for something you didn't do. And thirdly, they'll kill you. So I've used my first life, which is kind of upsetting when you know that next it's going to be some false charges. And if you survive the false charges, you just die. And that's true. I may not have exact receipts to prove it. It may not always be the government that kills strong, influential people who speak truth to power. But it's a question. It's something to be talked about. There's a reason people go around and say, protect this man at all costs. Same with Jordan Peterson. They tried to cancel him. They've tried to shut him up. COVID and other health concerns nearly took him out. But he's still here. He's still influential. What are they going to try to do to him next? Tim Pool, he's been swatted at least a dozen times. There's been a shooting that took place on his property. Not that, if I remember my facts correctly, not that anyone was injured, but shots were fired during a break-in. I will say again, the most dangerous thing that you can do on the internet is speak the truth and offend people with the truth. Facts don't care about your feelings, friends. They don't. Facts are meant to guide you. Facts, truth, data, science, real science, they're meant to be guidelines as to how you can build a more appropriate and stable, well-rounded life. If you have the wrong facts, the wrong information, the wrong data, the wrong truths, and people lie to you all the time, well, then you're going to make wrong decisions, bad decisions, decisions based on misinformation or information that never even existed in the first place. I find it very curious how social media operates, silencing people and individuals, and the effect that that is going to have against these very same companies later on down the road. I mean, you saw Twitter. Elon Musk came in and bought it out, and now we're finding out all these revelations about former FBI workers that worked at Twitter, FBI connections with Twitter. The FBI, Facebook, Twitter, Google, YouTube, we're all in collusion and cahoots together to ban people and silence people and, put them on the algorithm at the very bottom of the chain, shadow banning people so that way their content doesn't get out there, it doesn't get viewed the way it should. The government is not working for its citizens. I don't know why we're paying taxes. I don't know why I'm paying for children to learn about sex. I don't know why I'm paying for children in Chicago to learn whether or not to spit or use lube on dildos and butt plugs. I don't know why my tax dollars are going to fund border fucking security in Oman and Jordan and other Middle Eastern and North African countries, but not our own goddamn border security when we got millions of Americans dying of fentanyl overdose, which comes from over the border, generally from Chinese shipments. Oh, I said it. The truth. It hurts. I could go on a real bad rant here, but it's just going to be convoluted and disorganized. So I will leave it there. I will leave the facts here on the table, and I'll invite you to go check out the rest for yourself. Go listen to Andrew Tate on YouTube. Try to find a video proving to me where he's so evil, misogynistic. He's speaking truth. He's speaking biological truths. And they want him silenced for it. That day is coming for me one day. That day is coming for Tim Pool one day. People like the quartering, I don't want to ask for this upon anyone, but I'm here to educate you, the viewer, that the more that people like I and others on YouTube try to share the truth with you, the more we are at risk of just bad things happening. And I'm not a pessimist. I'm a realist. I don't care about internet trolls, to be perfectly honest, but we should all be aware the inherent dangers of the government acting in a shadowy nature. When the government and politicians say they have your best interests at heart, and what do? They go fund other countries. They fund LGBTQ studies and rights in other countries that actually don't agree with LGBTQ rights. So we're colonializing other countries, which I thought the left disapproves of, but we're doing it in the name of wokeism and LGBTQ. This is a damnable movement. If you're LGBTQ and you're an adult, I don't care. Be who you are. Go be happy. But the movement and what it's teaching youth and the confusion that it's bringing is damnable and regrettable. Anyway, like I said, I could rant for days, and I'm just here to try to bring you the truth as best I can. So I appreciate you coming back here for that. If you, as I, think that this video needs to be shared and that more people need to hear this message, please feel free to share this message with any and all of your friends and family. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and of course, subscribe. That way you don't miss my notifications of my content whenever I go live. I go live about once a week, and I'm getting into short videos now, so that way there's something to check out every single day of the week. I will see you all next week, and again, thanks for coming.